All right. Hang in there, folks. I'm going to do something if it'll work. Here we go.
Highly embarrassing moments when another Snowden arises. And people will become very afraid. They'll say, we have no protection. And then God says, am I impressed with your weapons of war? Am I impressed with the strength of your men's legs?
That was Kim Clement. And I was going to play a longer version of that, but I'm really at odds with which way I want to go with all this. I'll play the longer version in a minute. But I wanted that particular portion. Kim Clement's the one that prophesied the president of the United States, Donald Trump, was going to be Donald Trump by name, along with several others, years before it happened. He's prophesizing here in this prophecy, it'll be two terms. So either the prophet is true or he's not. But I heard something yesterday in that one little section right there. As people are jumping on, let me back this up and let me play the longer version of that. I want you to hear this. And I want you to think about what we're going through right now. As you listen to this was 2014 that this happened. And then I'm going to rewind that other one and I'm going to play it again because I want you to hear something particular, okay? So listen up close.
And the Spirit of God made me look at him and he said, this man will throttle the enemies of Israel. This man will throttle the enemies of the West. And there are highly embarrassing moments that are about to occur for many, many politicians in this nation. There will be a shaking amongst the Democrats in the upcoming elections, but unsettling for the
2014.
Republicans. Why is God doing this? For God said, I am dissatisfied with what emerges from both parties. And then there is a nation, he showed me, it took me, itching for a new kind of war with America. They will shout, impeach, impeach, they say. But nay. This nation shall come very subtly. But he shall not come in the time of President Obama.
This is in 2014.
They shall come when this new one arises, my David, that I have set aside for this nation. A man of prayer, a man of choice words, not a man who is verbose, who has verbosity, who speaks too much. They will even say, this man is not speaking enough.
Yeah.
But God says, I have set him aside. They will shout, impeach, impeach, but this shall not happen. And then God says, highly embarrassing moments when another Snowden arises. And people will become very afraid. They'll say, we have no protection. And then God says, am I impressed with your weapons of war? Am I impressed with the strength of your men's legs? Ah! I have said I will bring this nation to its knees. And God said, you have been humbled. And yet some more. And then you shall hear the sounds of great victory.
All right. There's a lot there to unpack. But I just want to, okay. There's a lot of things happening that you can say, wow, to that right there. But there's one little particular small thing I wanted you to pay attention to. He says, a new Snowden arises. People will become afraid and say they have no protection. So I was listening to another commentator, and I do the same thing you do. I listen to the alternative news sources that are out there, here and there and everywhere, and I try to understand, try to glean some information here and there of what's going on. And for some reason, here it is. My computer's being slower in pond water. So this guy right here that I want you to hear, just a short little segment of this. It's called the X-22 report. Or maybe you don't like the guy. I don't care. I was listening to this. This is from yesterday. And he's talking about the social medias and their censorship and how things are moving in a direction of you see, they're protected by law. They're allowed to censor us, even though other agencies would not be allowed to do that. Okay, so they're protected by law to prevent one side basically from getting their information out. So I just want you to hear this real quick, okay? And I want to relate it to what I just played, or relate it to. So here we go. I want to just kind of set this up. Here we go.
Now people are hearing the truth of what they're actually doing. And it seems that information is going to start to roll out in regards to election fraud, in regards to Durham's investigation. And it seems that censorship is headed our way. And it seems that Trump is actually signaling that this is about to happen. He tweeted this out. Section 230, which is a liability shielding gift from the U.S. to big tech, the only companies in America that have it, corporate welfare, is a serious threat to our national security and election integrity. Our country can never be safe and secure if we allow it to stand. Therefore, if the very dangerous and unfair Section 230 is not completely terminated as part of the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, I will be forced to unequivocally veto the bill when sent to the very beautiful Resolute desk. Take back America now. Thank you. So why did he come out with this right now? Because they're about to bring out the truth. They're about to expose election fraud. What do you think social media is going to do? What do you think these big tech companies are going to do? They're going to censor it all. They're going to try to hide it, just like they tried to hide the riots. That's why they censored people before the election. That's why they censored people after the election. And now when this information comes out, they don't want people reporting on it. So they're going to try to censor. Without Section 230, it destroys their entire business. They have no protections. I think Trump is preparing for this. Will it work? Will Congress actually get rid of Section 230? I don't think so.
Okay. So I wanted to play that. I think that something's going to happen with Section 230. And the reason why I think that is because if you listen close to the prophecy, and everything that's happening in this prophecy is happening. But just listen to this section right here.
That this shall not happen. And then God says, highly embarrassing moments when another Snowden arises. And people will become very afraid. They'll say, we have no protection. And then God says,
we have no protection. Now, some of this prophecy, I've listened to this thousands of times. I really get emotional charge out of that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe you believe, maybe you don't. That's okay. I mean, there are highly embarrassing moments coming out of this particular election, and the Democrats and the Republicans are kind of about it. So, there is some truth there. Donald Trump did become president as he predicted. He's also predicting 2 terms. That's yet to be determined, but a lot of us that are watching this right now are hopeful for that. I forgot to introduce myself in the beginning of this. I just got so much in here. I apologize. This is Mike Cook, coming to you live from Central Missouri. You already know that. And I really appreciate everybody jumping on. Follow me on the other socials. Share my videos. I appreciate it. But what he said there is there'll be no protection. And that's almost what the guy from X-22 said, that if Section 230 is removed, then the social medias have no protection against what? Against you. You see, if they ban you or block you or lower your, you can sue them without Section 230. Do you understand the importance of that? That's highly important. We don't have any other resource. You see, we are under a full-fledged barrage attack, we, the American people, by the media, by the social media, by the big tech companies, by Google. They're just attacking us on every front. If you're living in New York City, there's a video of them arresting a bar owner for giving away free beer. Why? Because he doesn't social distancing and closing down and wearing a mask like he's supposed to. They're attacking us on every single front, on every single side. They're hammering away at us. What's going on? People are living in fear. They're in fear of this virus. They're in fear of civil war. They're in fear of everything that's going on. We're at a precipice right now. And the vehicle is dumped off the other end. And we're in a decline like there's no tomorrow. I'm really feeling something today, and I don't, as I've said before, I'm a Christian. I believe in the Lord. I'm a layman. I'm not a preacher. I'm not educated. There's just something in my gut today. And I don't know why. And I've been sitting here for the last, well, it's 9 o'clock. I'm usually on before now. I'm sitting here for the last 2 hours down at my shop trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, and I still don't have any idea. God is on the move, I believe, big time. In the next day or two, just something inside me is bubbling up. And I don't know. I do want to play. I'm going to switch gears here because there's so much going on. There's so much the media is not covering. It's only people like me, like that X-22 guy that I played a little bit of, like a guy that a lot of you guys follow too, Brad Barton. We're putting this stuff out. OEN's putting it out there. You can get some of it on Twitter. You can follow stuff. There's so much going on, so much happening. I don't understand I just don't have, I don't know. Do some of y'all feel like that right now? That's just the way I feel. So I do want to touch on a couple things. First of all, you can't trust it. Don't trust me. Don't trust anybody. You got to research yourself. You have the information of the entire world at your fingertips, but you got to take effort to do that. I know I was listening to Brad Barton last night, and he was saying, we're lazy. We expect everything to be brought to us. We expect the media to bring everything to us. And by God, what the media says is true. I saw it. Even I can't put all this together for you. You got to go figure it out for yourself. So I know some of us just don't have the time. I get it. I understand. But so this is why I want to look. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, during the Obama administration, whatever it was, my go-to websites to find out information was the Drudge Report and Breitbart. I haven't looked at the Drudge Report in almost a year. They've completely sold out. They're never Trumper or extraordinaires or something. I don't know what happened to them. And Breitbart, well, just look at this. Griftwood mega poser goes for sabotage in Georgia. Linwood, major Democrat donor for decades. Big checks to Obama. Fronted Purdue opponents. Votes dim in primaries. So Breitbart's putting this out. The problem I have with that, you know who else was a major Democrat at one time? Donald Trump. He donated money to Al Sharpton and Nancy Pelosi and all stuff. Back in the day when he was a civilian and he had to like build a building, he had to, pay the graft, if you know what I mean. He had to pay to play. If you wanted to get a building permit, he had to make a donation. That's the way these scammers are. Corrupt sons of bitches. I'm sorry. Lynn Wood put this out. Breitbart is dishonest. Historically, I'm a nonpartisan. This year, I was a partisan because I love @RealDonaldTrump. I donated 375K to Trump PAC, solicited a 25K donation. I gave it to him. I gave 5,600 to Representative Doug Collins and hosted a fundraiser for him. You see, some people vote based upon their conscience, not their party. And some people are more concerned about their country club status, especially elected Republican politicians, than they care about anything they told a constituent when they bought their way into their office. Oh no, I thought Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan, Bush 41, Bush 43, Herman Cain were Republicans. So I do disagree with him there because I don't think the Bushes were Republicans. Well, they had an R. Did they lie to me? Or is Breitbart News lying to you? Why would Breitbart News come after Lynn Wood right now as he's trying to overturn the illegal votes in Georgia? Because the party line, and if you go back and watch my videos, if you weren't watching my videos, the party line for the Republicans, we've got to win the Senate in Georgia. Trump needs to step down and let this go so we can Republicanize the Senate and we can all keep our comfy chairs. And it's okay. We can run again in 2024. Do they watch the news? Oh, who cares if they watch the news? The news doesn't report it. In Georgia, they have the Dominion systems that weigh the vote, that give more votes to the Democrat than they do at all levels. At all levels. Stacey Abrams right now is being investigated for asking people to move to Georgia just to vote in this race. They've sent out over 1 million absentee ballots for this upcoming race. Let me tell you something, Republicans. Let me tell you something, politician Republicans. Marco Rubio. That's the only one that came to my mind. But you know the like. You know who I'm talking about, and they know who I'm talking about. Let me tell you something. If Donald Trump doesn't pull this off in the next week or so, you ain't winning that race. I don't give a damn if every single Republican in the state of Georgia votes. You ain't winning that race. Because the same thing that happened to the president, the same thing that happened at all levels of government is going to happen in Georgia again. Because if we let the same system do the same cheat, you're going to get the same results. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting to get different results. You're not going to get a different result. This election is in the bag. This election for Senate in Georgia is in the bag for the Democrats. It's already been decided. If Donald Trump doesn't pull this off, it's over. And 2024? Are you kidding? The only person that's going to run in 2024 on the Republican side is some Mitt Romney wannabe, some John McCain acolyte that will get up there and say, I can't say bad things about Kamala Harris. I can't say bad things about her because his skin's darker than mine. So I'm going to be nice. And I'm not going to talk about it. Oh, she's not a communist. She loves America and democracy, just like I love democracy through the Dominion voting machines, of course. That's going to be the Republican that runs. And Kamala Harris will win. I just had an epiphany. I believe strongly that they will remove Joe Biden either through the 25th Amendment because he's got some kind of dementia, or through the crimes and corruption that are so blatantly evident and the hard drives are there. They're going to remove him. If they remove him because of the crimes and corruption, they can say, look, we put all this crimes and corruption to bed. We solved all the problems. We're pure and clean as the wind-driven snow. Trust us. We're politicians. They got this cheese-eating smile on their face. And then Kamala Harris will be president of the United States. But I think they're going to wait 2 years to do that. Why, you ask? Because then she can run 2 more times. That just popped in my head as I was talking about this. 12 years of Kamala Harris. Won't that be great? Are you excited? And the Republicans that run against her twice will be, oh, we can't say anything bad about our friends across the aisle. They're not our friends. If one thing comes out of this election that I think will be great is there's going to be a new political party, and one or the other or both of these political parties are going to die on the vine. I said it. If you don't like it, I don't care. And to all my naysayers and distractors who are not watching me right now, but that will comment on the post later on, should watch my videos before you comment. Because if you don't, I don't really care what you have to say. So anyways, I'm switching gears again. I apologize. I've told you I'm kind of in I don't know where I'm at today. But there were some hearings. Did you hear about the hearings? I'm sure if you were watching CNN and MSNBC and Fox and Breitbart and all them, you didn't hear about the hearings that were going on. But I want to play a few little cuts from these hearings. And I'll tell you what, this one little gal, she's a firebrand. Whew. Anyways, so here's the cuts from these hearings. And I just want you to hear real quick, okay? These is from last night. And I think this is in Michigan or someplace. I don't know. They're going to start having these everywhere, by the way. You better pay attention.
I was under the impression that as a poll challenger, our primary responsibility is to make sure before a vote is cast that ballot is either in the registered poll book, the computer book, or in the paper poll book, of which anytime as a challenger, I tried to look at the ballot and then try to verify it, I would get 2 or 3 of the poll workers literally screaming at me to get back 6 feet. However, we did not know that had been overturned the night before, which would have been helpful. But at no time were we able actually to physically see the ballot and then see it in the poll electronic book. The person opening the ballot would probably be sitting where Senator Theis is, and the electronic screen that we were supposed to be watching is basically to where the committee clerk is. Now, I don't know if you guys got binocular vision, but I don't. So I cannot look at a ballot over here, run down to this screen and be able to see it and verify that it is the same. I did address that with them multiple times, and they told me, sorry, I should have planned better. Plan better as to how, needing binoculars. I mean, we as a poll challenger are supposed to verify the name, address on the ballot to the electronic poll book. And if it is not there, then it is supposed to be in a paper poll book, of which there was a significantly large poll worker. Anytime that I said that is not in the book, when she would scan it, it would not come up on the screen. Then she would basically hover over this paper book, sometimes checking something, and other times we could see that they did not check it. And then they proceeded to manually enter these into the electronic poll book, where then they would come up on the screen. Many of these papers were not absentee ballot, the yellow envelope, the standard ballot. Some of them were on printed paper. Some of them were in white envelopes. Some of them had multiple papers attached to them. So then they would manually enter them into the electronic book.
Okay. I don't see, I don't hear, there is no evidence of voter fraud. That's right. These people are all liars. I'll get to that in a second. So I got a couple more that ought to just really excite you or upset you. I don't know which way we should go with this, but here's a couple more, just little clips from the hearings. Oops, hold up. It does work a lot better if you unmute things. Oh shoot. Okay, hold on. I'll get this in a second. It's not letting me. My computer is being a pain. Okay, here we go.
Then around 4:30 a.m., we had an announcement that a new shipment of ballots were arriving, and these boxes of ballots were brought in by Mr. Baxter himself at 4:30 a.m. from the rear of the room. So I personally witnessed Mr. Baxter carrying boxes from the rear of the basement of the TCF Center into the tables. So each box, I approximate 600 ballots. And it was like a full, what you have to know is that these tables, there's about 7 tables. They were 10-foot tables each. Every table was full of boxes of ballots. It's not tens of thousands or 20,000s. I approximate 50,000 ballots were brought in. Now, were all of those ballots brought in from the rear entrance to the TCF Center? I don't know. They were brought in from the TCF Center, but there was a lot more than just the ones that were brought in from the rear entrance of the TCF Center. And I'm talking, this is the 6 a.m. This is when we're starting at 6 a.m. to 4:35 a.m. It was 50,000 ballots on the table, equal to the 2 rounds that we did before. We did a round around 10 p.m. to about 1 a.m. and then 1 a.m. to about 4 a.m. And then the boxes were brought in from the rear around 4:30. Then they had the shift change from around 5 to 6. So with the shift change, most of the volunteers were tired at this point. They only expected to be there from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So 90+% of them left at 5 a.m. I decided to stick around. So they had the shift change. At 6 a.m., Mr. Baxter and his management team got back on the microphone and said, this is what the new shift change, right? The new employees says, this is what democracy is supposed to look like. Right in front of everyone, the whole room cheered.
This is what democracy is supposed to look like, they said. This is why we're not a democracy. Because you can walk in with 50,000 ballots after the poll watchers have left and, just add 50,000 ballots to your favorite candidate of your choice. What a scam. Why didn't I think of that? We could have added, 900,000 ballots here in Missouri. Maybe it would have made a difference. I don't know. Yes, we're all patriots here in Missouri for the most part. There's a few of us, but not many that aren't. So here's this gal. I find this gal to be pretty credible witness. And she's got a long testimony. You ought to go watch the whole thing, but this is just a clip of it.
Yes. Would you say that about 100,000 false documents were created? Yeah, from September 22nd till, I would say, till September 30th. Yeah, about 10 days. I mean, I was there till October 2nd. And you estimated, when we went over this, about 10,000 a day. Yeah, anywhere between 10,000 to 15,000. Yes, sometimes we will be able to complete. I even remember 14,000 packages. Sometimes it's 12,000. So you can just, to be on the safe side, you can say 10,000 per day. That's a good number. And just before we leave this, would your supervisor say this to all of you publicly? In other words, he would say, today, the date we're going to use is this date. Whatever. Yes. Yeah. That's the announcement. In other words, you had the phony date of the day. Yeah, that's the announcement they will make. Yes. On the floor. Yes.
Oh, whoa. Okay. So what was that all about? What was she talking about? Well, the first two that you heard was poll watchers talking about what was happening, counting. The second guy was about 50,000 ballots showing up out of nowhere. This gal was prior to the election, she was filling out ballots and backdating them or post-dating them or something, dating them different than the day that it was. Where those 50,000 ballots come from? But mind you, we don't see, we don't hear, we don't have, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. These aren't credible. It's not happening. I played that X22 guy beginning of this. He said it's going to start coming out. And it's going to start being censored. It's already being censored on the mainstream media. They just don't cover it. What are they talking about? Corona, Corona, Corona. That's what they're talking about. Everybody drink the Coronas. Now, this is my favorite lady of all of them. She was the star yesterday. She's the star today. She's blonde hair. She's got her Karen hair up. She's got her Karen glasses on. And I tell you what, I absolutely enjoy this lady because she don't take no crap from nobody. She don't care if you're a sitting congressperson. She can tell you how it is. So this is my favorite one. I saved it for last. We'll wrap up here in a second, but just listen to this gal.
The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off by 30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000. That poll book. Why don't you look at the registered voters on there? How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
No, I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom of this here.
Zero. There's zero.
So my question then is if the
guess how many what about the turnout rate? 120%.
Rudy's leaning over trying to tell her to settle down.
So the poll book number, there's two things that could happen here. Either
this
the poll book
Democrat
number
that's speaking.
If ballots were counted multiple times, there's two options. Option number one is that the poll book numbers are not going to match.
They don't.
The actual. Not by thousands and thousands of votes. That's not what we see right now.
Take a look again. Take a look again.
Option number two is that they essentially were filling in names of people who didn't vote.
Dead people too?
So is that?
Let's
I guess,
let Representative Johnson ask his question, and then when
I thought that was his answer. Okay.
Well, I guess that's my question here is why we're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes. That's not the case.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
I'm just saying the numbers are not off by 30,000 votes. So
I know what I saw.
That they're filling in.
I know what I saw, and I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison. Did you?
Okay,
I'm just trying to ask you a legitimate question here.
Yeah, let's let Representative Johnson ask his question, and then don't interrupt him. And then, if you want to respond to it, that's fine. Did you have more, Representative?
Yeah, I guess I just want to keep following back up with the poll book. So are we saying that the poll book is either wildly off or that they are filling in names?
Yes, she's saying that. I signed something that says I'll go to prison. Did you? I tell you what, she just fires me up. She'll take no crap from these guys. Man, I tell you what, she was working this as a part-time gig because she was trying to feed her family. Stuff's been slow, coronas and all that stuff. And she's complaining now on the social medias that she can't get hired. Anybody need somebody to like run their front office or something? Because I think this gal can do it. Whew. Anyways, that one just tickles me they need to put her up there more often. I know. MSNBC and CNN won't like her because she talked back to their heroes. I tell you, I'm feeling something today, and I don't know what it is, and I can't describe it. It's something. Remember that the battle belongs to the Lord. And if you're a God-fearing person, whatever denomination or church you go to, whether you pray standing up or kneeling down, whether you recite already said, written prayers, or you make them up or you do it loud, you do it in your closet, however you do it. If you do it Holy Ghost filled, like when I went to the Winton Road Church of God in Christ in Columbus, Georgia, when I was in the Army. I don't know if that church even still exists, but I kind of stuck out at that church, but it was fun. However you communicate with the God of the universe, may I recommend that for the next 24 to 48 hours, that you petition God to save our country. If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and repent of their evil ways or wicked ways, I will heal them. I will heal their land. I paraphrased that. It's not an exact quote. It's time that we humble ourselves and ask God's forgiveness on our country and ask for his divine intervention in what's going on. And I do believe, strongly believe, that something coming. So be prepared. You guys have a great day. It's almost 9:30, or it is 9:30, and they're standing outside beating on my door. I probably ought to let them in. And I'm going to get to work. You guys have a great day. Share this video. Follow me on the other socials. I put the links on my page. Scroll down a little bit. You'll find it. You guys have a great day, because you know what? The censoring's coming, and they'll probably censor me. It'd be a badge of honor, though. I'll wear it like a badge. I got censored. Isn't it awesome? You guys have a great day. Hey, and if you don't like my videos, just scroll by. It's like switching the channel. God, you guys got to complain about everything. Have a great day.